Son of a Night Fury. Written by Dragonfan 101. 5. Caption release. Hiccup had left his village again to go out to find where he shot down the dragon. He swears he could have shot down two. He had a feeling it could have been possible. This chance he has is something he can't lose. He's been neglected and looked down upon all his life since he was a child. Hiccup wasn't like the other Vikings on Berg. He was short, scrawny, and whenever he tried finding a way to kill a dragon or help out, he always ended up making it worse, and he's not been the most well-liked person in Berg. He really saw he hit that Night Fury down in this forest somewhere, and he needs to find it and finally prove he's worthy of being a Viking. But he wasn't having any luck finding it. Even if he did shoot down two dragons somehow, he's tried calculating which direction they would have fallen. They could have fallen anywhere in the forest, but as much as he tried finding them, he was having no luck. Hiccup was currently within the forest trying to find them, looking over every possible area he could have hid them, but whenever he thought he would find them, it ended up not being the place. Hiccup put the marks of where they could have fallen in his notebook. He looked over everywhere he's gone and sighed with frustration as he didn't make any progress, and he feels like he's wasting his time. Hiccup only scratched the entire page and covered up all the locations he marked with frustration, feeling really upset that he hasn't found anything at all. Oh, the gods hate me. Some people lose their knife or mug. Hiccup talked to himself as he walked down a steep hill. No, not me, I managed to lose nearly 2 whole dragons. Hiccup shouted at himself before he tried knocking a tree branch that was in his way away, right before it suddenly came back and hit him in the face, which hurt a bit. But as he looked up to the tree, he saw the tree had been split in half by something, and as he looked towards the ground, he saw something big had hit the ground extremely hard, and it slid over the ledge in front of him, and Hiccup had a look of realization as he believed he could have finally found them. Tense music plays as Hiccup slowly crawls on the ground, hoping it wouldn't see them if they were here, and as he slowly looks over the ledge to see what's there, he gasped with fear and quickly ducked down from seeing a really large black creature, which looked like a Night Fury. Hiccup slowly looks back over the ledge, looking over it and seeing that to his shock, he actually managed to shoot it down. It was the Night Fury. It had taken the shot Hiccup sent to it earlier, and he was completely amazed with the sight of it, thinking it might have been dead. Oh. I did it. Oh, This fixes everything. Yes. I have brought down this might be, Hiccup shouted right as he tried standing on it, but he was suddenly spooked as the thing suddenly made a loud growl which made him back up. He saw a strange-looking tail right under the Night Fury. He slowly made his way closer to its face, and to his surprise, he saw a second dragon had been caught up with him. It was purple with emerald green eyes and spine. It looked to be far younger than the Night Fury too. He was completely restrained to the Night Fury because of the contraction, and they both had a look of fear as they saw Hiccup in front of them. Spike barely remembers what happened last night. He got knocked out after he and his father were caught in this trap. He couldn't do anything to break free, and as much as he wanted to speak, begging him to let them go, he can't, and Spike only prayed that he would show mercy. Please. Don't. Spike begged within his thoughts as they saw the boy in front of them. Hiccup was really shocked in seeing he actually brought down 2 dragons. He had a feeling that he did, but this is as clear as day. It was the luckiest thing that ever happened in his life, and despite their look of fear, he knew what he needed to do in order to fully show that he's able to be like them. Hiccup slowly took out a single knife he had that he could use to kill the 2 of them. He could hear the Night Fury's sounds of fear while he held Spike as tightly as he could, but Hiccup tried to do what he needs to. I'm gonna kill you 2 dragons. I'm gonna cut out your hearts and take them to my father. I am a Viking. I am a Viking. Hiccup said in a threatening tone which made the 2 of them even more terrified, thinking this was their last possible moments. Spike didn't want it to end like this. He and his father were just trying to find a proper home and answers on their own pasts, but this moment wherein could be their last, and he felt a single tear come from his eyes as he saw the boy look like he was ready to kill them both. I'm sorry, Dad. Spike said in his thoughts with guilt as he and his father closed their eyes, bracing themselves for their demise. Hiccup could see they were extremely terrified, and even though he wanted to do it very badly, his guilt just couldn't let him go through with it, and he pulled the knife away from them both as they still had their eyes shut, feeling horrible that he did this. Hiccup looked at his knife sadly and could hear the 2 of them breathing slowly still, like they're still waiting for it, but Hiccup just couldn't bring himself to do it. I did this. Hiccup said regretfully as he looked at the 2 of them caught in the trap. If he were to just leave them here like this, it's likely another predator would come to finish the job. But as Hiccup looked at his knife again, and back to the ropes restraining them, Hiccup sighed to himself as he got a really stupid idea on what to do, and hoped it wouldn't get him killed from it. Spike and the Night Fury suddenly opened both their eyes as they hear something being cut. As they looked to where the boy was, to both their surprise, he was actually cutting the ropes too. Set them free. What is he doing? Spike thought with shock as he felt the restraints be cut, and before he could do anything, his father suddenly roared and grabbed the boy with his paw and pinned him down to the ground with rage. Hiccup gasped with fear and looked extremely afraid as he saw the Night Fury give him a glare right at his own eyes. He could hear the growls from the beast while he was almost helpless. Spike looked at his father with shock and prayed that he wouldn't kill the boy either, since he did set them free for some reason. But as the Night Fury started to rise while making louder growls, and Hiccup braced himself for what could be a blast from it. But the Night Fury soon leaned down and made a really loud roar right in his face as a threat not to do this again, and he suddenly got off of Hiccup and started running through the forest to fly off. Spike could see he was trying to take to the sky, but something was wrong. As he tried flying into the sky, something wasn't letting him do it, and as he looked closer at his tail, he saw that he was missing one of his tail fins. Oh no! Spike thought with fear while he was slowly getting up on all fours to not expose his own secrets. He looked back at the boy one last time, who was breathing heavily with shock from what he just experienced, and he soon looked at Spike. The two looked at Hector, not saying a word or moving at all aside from their heavy breathing, and Spike didn't know why this boy decided to release them. They both said nervously before Spike realized he almost spoke and kept his mouth shut tight, and without a second thought, he quickly ran after his father to see what's going on. He didn't think the boy would set them free. He had his chance to kill the both of them right there, but for some reason, he didn't, and whatever it was, he was just glad they're still alive. Hiccup breathed heavily as he tried getting back up while the two ran away, feeling nothing but shock after that near-death experience, but as he tried walking away, he started to faint from the shock he just felt. Ugh! Hiccup groaned before he dropped his knife and fell on the ground and passed out after experiencing all of that, barely moving at all until he woke up far later. Spike chased after his father as he saw he was trying to fly again, but each time he did, he roughly crashed into the ground due to the failed balance. He felt really worried for his father, knowing that without his tail fin, he can't fly. Spike didn't suffer from losing anything important. He still had his wings and could still fly freely, but for his father, this may be far more difficult for them now, and if that boy or someone else comes looking for them, they may not get out of it alive. Dad, stop! Spike shouted as he saw his father try to take into the skies again, but that ended up failing worse this time, and he soon crashed down into the ground, before Spike watched with fear as he saw his father roughly slide down a steep ledge, before falling off of it into a large wide-open grove. No! Spike screamed as he quickly spread his wings and took into the air quickly. He flew down towards the grove he saw his father falling to. He saw he was still falling off the ledge extremely roughly while screeching from the scrapes he was getting, and Spike quickly flew under him before he hit the ground and used all his strength to catch him before he crashed down. Spike took heavy breaths as he slowly lifted his father up to put him down somewhere safe. He was very worried his father could have injured himself because of this, and he didn't want anything worse happening. Dad, are you okay? Spike asked with worry while he set him down and ran over to his head and tried making sure he was okay. He could hear him groan painfully a bit as he tried getting up, but barely could right now after falling down the ledge like that. I'll live, son. It's nothing concerning, I promise, he replied as he tried jumping in the air again to fly off, but he failed again because of his missing tail fin, and Spike quickly rushed over and caught him again to make him stop. Dad, stop, you can't fly now. Whatever we were hit with, it got one of your tail fins cut. Spike said regretfully as he looked at his tail to see what's wrong. He was missing the left part of his tail fin because of that fall they took, and without it, he won't be flying anytime soon. What? He asked with fear while he slowly moved his tail to them closer to get a better look, and with their fears being true, it really was gone. It's gone, Dad. I'm so sorry. Spike said with tears before he screamed with frustration and punched a nearby rock and shattered it with one punch with his strength. He didn't want this to happen to them. He had just gotten his wings and finally could fly himself, but now that this has happened, they may not be able to last out here for long. Son, please don't push yourself, we can't draw any attention out here. His father warned while Spike took a smaller rock and threw it far into the lake that was nearby out of frustration. Why not? This is the worst possible thing that could have happened to us. We had just set out from our home a day ago. And now we could be stuck here with you flightless, and are on an island of Vikings who are out to kill us. Spike shouted as he walked over to his father and sat down with an upset look. The Night Fury could feel his frustration at this moment. He had been raising him for over 15 years by now, always looking after and protecting him as his son, but once they set out from that island, not one day into their search, they're already in this situation. He knew it wasn't gonna be easy for them, but he didn't expect it to go this wrong either. I should have been more prepared for what could have happened, son. This was the first time I've been out from that island in years. If I tried being more careful, we wouldn't be in this situation now, he said regretfully while Spike tried calming down after hearing it. Dad. What happened last night? We were flying normally before you started acting up so suddenly. I don't know what was going on. I tried my best to follow you, but when I did, we ended up going to that village those other dragons were raiding. What happened with you? Spike asked, wondering what made him act up like that. And the Night Fury didn't know how to answer it either. While he's surprised Spike wasn't affected by what he felt, but he didn't know how to explain it. It just happened. I don't know. I really don't. I felt like I heard a voice speak in my head. And before I could do anything, it was like it took control of me, forcing me into attacking that village with those dragons. I've been wanting to avoid conflicts ever since I found and raised you, only stepping up if something threatens or tries to harm you. But it looks like I'll have to be keeping my guard up for whatever the thing was from trying to take control of me again. He said regretfully, while Spike was surprised hearing that, but after how long he's been with him, it makes sense a bit. Then, what was it? What could have taken control of you? You think it was another dragon or something? Something much scarier than we think? Spike asked with fear at the possibility, and his father had felt that same fear too when thinking about it. I don't know. But I have a terrible feeling it is. I hadn't felt a fear like that in a very long time. He replied as Spike helped him to the lake so they could think over it. Looking into the water helped their minds think a bit more clearly. It was a bit soothing to them, even during the state they're in. Looking at the water at least helped them calm down a bit. Then, what do we do? How are we going to fix this? Spike asked as he looked at his father's tail and rubbed it slightly to try and set him, and his father didn't know what to do either. I don't know, but there's one thing I know for sure. We'll need to be on our guard when in this place, until we find a way to get out of here. We need to be cautious. Those Vikings are dangerous. They could kill us easily if they found us, me especially now. But if there's a way to fix this, we need to find out what. He replied while Spike was thinking over a lot of stuff. He was still confused on what happened with him during that raid. When he tried fighting off those other Vikings and dragons, he shot out fire in ways he's never done before. It was like his own father's fire with its blast and effects. Plasma. He had never done something like that before, and he had so many questions on why that even happened. Dad, there's something else I should tell you. Spike said with worry while his father looked at him curiously. And what is that, son? He asked while Spike looked at his claws with concern. During the raid, when I got separated from you, I was doing what I can to fend off attacks from both the dragons and Vikings. Something happened when I attempted to shoot fire. It came out in a far different way than before. It was almost like your own fire. It felt really powerful. And it took down most of the ones who attacked me easily. And I don't know how it happened. Spike confessed, which surprised him greatly hearing that. He and Spike were completely different dragons, but even then, he still doesn't know Spike's own origin. How? How can that be possible? The Night Fury asked while Spike looked at another large rock nearby, and without a second thought, Spike took a breath before he suddenly shot another plasma blast from his mouth. The blast flew over to the rock and destroyed it instantly, and his father was in complete shock of seeing it. That is just like my fire, he said with shock while Spike looked down with worry over why this is happening. I don't know how I can do it now. But I don't know how to feel about it. But what do you think could be the cause of it? How can I breathe fire like you now? Spike asked while they looked at Hector, and his father got an idea that might help a bit. It could have been a change after you had grown your wings. We don't know much about your type. I've never seen a dragon like you, and if it's possible, whoever your family was, may be even more interesting than we thought. He suggested while Spike looked worried over that. Do you think that's why I was left in that egg? Do you think they could be tied into the Night Freeze in some way? I don't know who my mother or birth father was, and we don't know about their history either, so unless we find out anything on them, or the Night Freeze, we're not gonna find out anything. Spike said with worry while he wondered if more traits of a Night Fury could show in the future for him. It's possible. We still have much we need answered. But until we find a way out of this grove, we can only question on how this is possible. He replied while Spike took a deep breath and started to stand up to try and fix it. You're right. Until we get out of here, the least we can do is try to stay alive. I'm gonna do what I can here to help you. Since you can't fly, I'll try doing what I can to find food. This lake should have some fish in it that will last for a while, but we're gonna need to try and find ways to survive here until we'd figure this out. Spike said as he looked over to a tree branch and got an idea on what to do. Are you sure about this, son? It'll be far tougher for us now that we're in unknown territory. It will be dangerous for both of us. He asked as Spike ripped it off, and started using his claws to cut off its side branches, and sharpen it a bit. You've been doing everything to keep me safe and alive for so long, Dad. Now it's time I return the favor. I'll find a way to fix this, I promise. Let's just hope a miracle happens soon. Spike said as he used his claws to sharpen the tip of it to make it look like a spear, something that would help him catch a few fish for them. Despite how worried he was if Spike would get hurt, he had no choice but to let this happen. It's kill or be killed here, and he can only hope he and Spike find a way to fix this. If you're sure about it, son, he replied as Spike walked over to the lake and did one last thing to ask him before he tried catching them. Dad, there's one more thing I need to ask. When we were set free from the trap by that boy, why did you let him go? He could have killed us right there if he wanted, but for whatever reason, he didn't. Spike asked, which made his father think over the two. He showed us mercy. I don't know if it was from his own guilt or out of pity for us, but whatever the reason, he let us go, and I decided to let him go in return, but not without a warning. If he tries it again, to harm you, or shows up with more Vikings to kill us, I won't stop myself from finishing it. He answered with an upset tone while Spike still questioned why. What he saw from him was different, and he had a lot to think about because of it. But what do you think was the reason? That boy. He was different from the other Vikings I saw. He honestly reminded me of me in a way. Out of all the dragons in this world, I may be the only one who can really talk like them, and if he's going through something similar, do you think that's the reason why? Spike asked as he flew over to the lake to see if there's any fish near the surface. Only time will tell why, son. Maybe soon we'll find out why, but for now, we just need to wait. He replied as Spike saw a few fish move just nearby, and he slowly aimed his sharp spear at the water with a growl of anger. Let's hope to the gods we do, Dad, Spike said before he made a loud cry as he stabbed the spear through the water before things cut to black. Whatever reason that boy let them go was, they hope they'll find out soon, but for now, they need to try and survive being here. Hours later, after Hiccup had woken up from the shock he just went through, he decided to make his way home to try and process what he did. He questioned why those dragons let him go, and he had many questions about himself because of it too, but if there's one thing for sure, he doesn't feel like he should try this again after going through that. Hiccup made his way back to his house where he tried making it look like he never left, but when he entered it, he saw his father was already there, packing things up for something important while a single torch was lit. It's possible he's going to try and find wherever the dragon's nest is again. He and previous leaders have been searching for it for years, and it's been one of the main goals the Vikings have had for a very long time. But as he tried sneaking his way up the stairs, Stoic already knew he was there and started speaking. Hiccup. Stoic said sternly, which made Hiccup stop in his tracks. Dad, there's something I want to talk to you about. Hiccup said nervously while he started walking to him, and Stoic turned to him too, needing to speak of something important. I need to speak with you too, son. Stoic said as God had convinced him earlier in a meeting in the other Vikings at hours ago, and he knew it was important he did this. The two stayed silent for a moment before they both decided to speak finally. It's time you learn to fight dragons / I don't want to fight dragons. What? They both spoke at once before backing up a bit. You go first. Stoic insisted before Hiccup let him go first. No, you go first. Hiccup replied, which made Stoic give him his answer. Okay. You get your wish. Dragon training, you start in the morning. Stoic announced, which wasn't what he wanted to hear at all after what he went through earlier. Oh. Man, I should have gone first, Hiccup told himself, knowing he blew it, but he tried talking his dad out of it. But I was thinking. We have a surplus of dragons fighting Vikings, but do we have enough bread-making Vikings? Or small home repair Vikings? Hiccup asked as Stoic walked over to a wall to hand him a weapon. You'll need this, Stoic said while he handed him the weapon, which was very heavy for him, which made Hiccup more nervous. I don't want to fight dragons, Hiccup said nervously, which only made Stoic laugh a bit. Oh, come on, Hiccup. Yes, you do, Stoic encouraged, since he's been asking this for years. Rephrase. Dad, I can't kill dragons, Hiccup argued back while looking at him. But you will kill dragons, Stoic replied, making this harder for him. No. I'm really extra sure that I won't, Hiccup said with fear while Stoic didn't look convinced one bit. It's time, Hiccup, Stoic said sternly, worrying Hiccup even more. Can you not hear me? Hiccup asked with worry while his father walked closer to him while standing tall with a serious look. This is serious, son. When you carry this axe, you carry all of this with you. Which means, you walk like us, you talk like us, you think like us, Stoic explained while motioning into the axe and his head for examples. No more of this, Stoic said while looking at Hiccup again. You just gestured to all of me. Hiccup complained again, knowing this has happened many times before. Deal. Stoic asked while Hiccup was very nervous still. This conversation is feeling very one-sided. Hiccup complained again, which made his father a bit upset. Deal. Stoic asked more sternly, which made Hiccup sigh in defeat since he has no choice on this now. Deal. Hiccup agreed finally while feeling very worried on what could happen because of this now, and hearing that made Stoic smile a bit with a small sigh as he went to get the bags he packed. Good, train hard son, I'll be back, probably. Stoic said as he was taking his leave for a long voyage he and many other Vikings are gonna take. And I'll be here. Maybe. Hiccup said with concern as the door slammed shut. Hiccup had a lot going on now that this was happening, and he just prayed things don't go horribly wrong tomorrow. He had many questions on those dragons he saw earlier, but for now, he has other things he needs to worry about. If you guys are enjoying this story, please give it a like, comment your thoughts, give me a follow and share this